On a quiet afternoon in a busy city, a young boy named Malik was walking home from school when he noticed something glinting on the sidewalk. Curiosity led him to stop, and to his surprise, he found a wallet. Not just any wallet, but one that looked expensive and full of cash. As he opened it to see if he could find any identification, a man's business card fell out. His name was Michael Reynolds, a millionaire entrepreneur known for his success and lavish lifestyle. But Malik didn't hesitate. He didn't think about the money or what he could do with it. Instead, he tucked the wallet under his arm and set out to find this stranger and return what was lost. He knew it was the right thing to do. Little did he know, his good deed would lead to something unexpected. The next day, as Malik was sitting in his living room, he heard a car pull up outside. Looking out the window, his heart skipped a beat when he saw a black SUV parked in front of his house. The tinted windows made it impossible to see who was inside, but there was no mistaking that the car was waiting for him. Was it a coincidence? Or was there something more to his chance encounter with Michael Reynolds? As the doorbell rang, Malik's thoughts raced. Who could be here? And what did they want? What was waiting for him on the other side of that door? Malik's hands trembled as he slowly walked toward the door. He had no idea who could be outside. It wasn't every day the black SUV just showed up in front of a regular house in his neighborhood, especially after finding a wallet. His heart raced as the doorbell rang again, louder this time. Whoever was there wasn't going away anytime soon. He took a deep breath and opened the door, but before he could say anything, the man standing on his porch spoke first. "You're Malik, right?" the stranger asked, his voice smooth but firm. "Yeah, that's me. Can I help you?" Malik asked, trying to keep his cool, even though his mind was spinning. The man nodded, offering a polite but somewhat mysterious smile. "I'm Michael Reynolds. We met yesterday when you returned my wallet. I wanted to thank you properly for your honesty." He stepped forward, holding out his hand. Malik shook it, still confused. Why was Michael here? He just returned a lost wallet, not expecting anything in return. But Michael's next words only added to the confusion. "I know this might sound strange, but I'd like to offer you something I think could change your life." The offer felt out of place, especially coming from a man who had everything. Malik had grown up seeing the struggles in his community, where opportunities felt scarce, and people with money rarely looked back to help. But something about Michael's demeanor made him curious, despite the caution that told him not to trust too easily. As Malik hesitated, Michael continued, "I know it might seem like a lot to take in, but I'm here because you've got something rare. You did the right thing when most people wouldn't have. That kind of integrity is worth more than you know." The words hung in the air, heavy with unspoken meaning. Malik's curiosity deepened, but so did the unease. What did this really mean? And why him? Malik stood frozen, still holding the door half open, unsure of how to respond. Michael Reynolds' words were still echoing in his head, but there was something about the way the man spoke, something off. He couldn't shake the feeling that there was more to this offer than Michael was letting on. "What do you mean, change my life?" Malik asked, his voice sounding a bit more cautious than he intended. Michael's expression didn't falter, but his eyes sharpened. "I'm offering you an opportunity, something that could set you on a completely different path. You're smart, Malik. You've got a good head on your shoulders. I want to invest in that, but it's not just about money. It's about connections, about giving you access to things most people will never see." Malik frowned, trying to process everything. Growing up, he had always heard about people making it big, but he had never imagined it could happen to someone like him. He'd always worked hard, doing everything from part-time jobs to helping his mom with bills, but dreams of wealth or power felt far out of reach. Was this some kind of scam? Or was this his shot at something real? As he opened his mouth to ask more questions, his mom's voice suddenly echoed from the kitchen. "Malik, who's at the door?" Michael glanced over Malik's shoulder and then back at him, a subtle shift in his expression. "It's nothing, just a small conversation. I won't take up much more of your time, he said smoothly. Malik's heart raced. Why did Michael seem so interested in him, so insistent? Was it the way he'd returned the wallet, or was there something else? As the minutes ticked by, Malik couldn't shake the gnawing feeling that this encounter was the beginning of something far more complicated than he could ever imagine. Outside, the black SUV still sat in silence, waiting. It was a stark contrast to the quiet hum of the neighborhood, and Malik couldn't help but wonder if it was a sign of something darker lurking behind Michael's smooth promises. Malik stood there, his mind racing. Michael's words had a strange pull on him, like a door being opened to a world he had never known. Yet, the unease in his gut wouldn't go away. The promise of a new life was tempting, but the unknowns were terrifying. Was this really an opportunity, or was it a trap? He glanced at the black SUV again, the sleek vehicle now feeling like a silent threat, its dark windows hiding everything from view. Michael hadn't mentioned why he was here, why he had chosen Malik out of everyone. There were thousands of people in the city, yet he'd singled out a teenage boy who found a wallet. That wasn't normal. A sudden noise from inside the house broke Malik's thoughts. His mom was coming closer. He had to make a decision. Was he going to let Michael in, or would he shut the door and walk away from whatever was being offered? As if reading his mind, Michael leaned in just slightly, his voice lowering. I know it's hard to trust me, but think about this. In a year, you could be somewhere completely different. You could be making moves that could change your whole future. Don't you want that? The words hung heavy in the air, but Malik felt a wave of doubt flood his mind. Why me? The question echoed louder now. Could Michael really offer him something real, or was this all part of the bigger game? What would happen if he said yes? What would happen if he said no? Just as Malik opened his mouth to ask more, a sharp knock came from the SUV's door. The sound was quick, urgent, like a signal. Michael's gaze shifted, almost imperceptibly, to the car. Malik froze. Whatever was happening now, it was bigger than him. Malik's eyes followed Michael's subtle glance toward the SUV. The knock on the door of the vehicle had come from inside, but it wasn't just any knock. It was quick, sharp, almost as if it had been rehearsed. Michael's face tightened for the briefest moment, his smooth demeanor cracking, revealing a flicker of something more urgent, more dangerous. Before Malik could react, a second figure emerged from the shadows of the SUV. A tall man, dressed in all black, moved with the kind of purpose that made Malik's pulse quicken. He wasn't just anyone. He carried himself like someone used to getting what he wanted. The man's eyes locked onto Malik's for a moment, and then he turned toward Michael with a sharp nod. The tension in the air thickened, and Malik's heart began to race. Michael cleared his throat, as if to brush off the uncomfortable silence that now hung between them. Malik, he said, his voice now noticeably colder, this is why I'm here. It's not just about you helping me with the wallet. Malik's stomach dropped. What did he mean, ? The man in black took a step forward, his presence overwhelming. You think this is just some random chance? That you stumbled upon my wallet and that's the end of it? No, there's more at play here, more than you understand. Malik felt a cold shiver run down his spine. His instincts screamed at him to walk away, but his feet wouldn't move. He felt trapped, like a fly in a spider's web, and everything, every choice, every word, seemed to be closing in around him. Michael took a slow step back, eyes flicking to the man in black. You're a part of something much bigger than you realize, and whether you like it or not, you're already involved. The weight of those words hit Malik like a punch to the chest. Whatever was happening, whatever he had just stepped into, he was no longer in control. Malik's heart pounded as Michael's eyes bore into his. The man in black stepped forward, removing his sunglasses. I'm Lucas, Michael's personal security and brother, he said quietly. Malik's world tilted. Brother, what was happening? Michael took a slow breath. I staged the wallet drop, he admitted. I needed to find someone honest, and I needed someone who cared more about integrity than money. You showed me exactly that. Malik's pulse slowed, confusion and relief warring inside him. All this danger had been a test. Lucas nodded. You passed. He handed Malik a small envelope. Inside was a letter, addressed in neat handwriting. Asterisk to my son Malik. I've watched you from afar, your mother, and I always believed you'd grow into a man of honor. Asterisk. Malik's hands shook. His chest tightened. This was bigger than any business deal. Michael's voice trembled with emotion. I'm your father. I never thought I'd have the chance to meet you like this. Malik's eyes filled with tears. The SUV, the strangers, the suspense. It wasn't about a shady deal or hidden agenda. It was about family, forged in secrecy and redemption. As Lucas closed the door behind him, Malik looked up into Michael's eyes and saw genuine hope. The conflict melted, the test was over, and the offer of guidance and resources felt real now. Malik realized his life was about to change in ways he'd only dreamed of. Just when relief washed over him, a soft click echoed from inside the black SUV. Malik turned, alarmed, but Michael remained calm. What now? Malik whispered. A voice crackled from the SUV's hidden speaker. Congratulations, Malik Reynolds. You've passed the final challenge. Welcome to Asterisk, the inheritance. Asterisk. The screen inside the SUV flickered to life, showing a live countdown timer. Asterisk 0130 asterisk, and a flashing message. Asterisk next task starts now. Asterisk. Malik stared in disbelief as the SUV's doors swung open, revealing the first clue of a game that would test everything he thought he knew about trust, loyalty, and his own courage. Malik stood frozen, staring at the flashing countdown. His mind scrambled, trying to process everything: his father's sudden revelation, the mysterious game, and the strange series of events that had led him here. The car's doors opened, and a voice from the speaker urged him to take the first step. The challenge was real, and it had just begun. Michael stepped forward, his tone softer now. This isn't a game to us, Malik. It's a chance to prove what you're made of. The decisions you make from here on will define your future. But know this, everything we've done, everything we've tested, was because we believe you're capable of more than you realize. Malik took a deep breath, trying to steady his racing heart. He'd always lived in the shadows of a world that seemed out of reach, but now that world was pulling him in. He was no longer the boy who just found a lost wallet. He was someone with a future that had been mapped out for him, one filled with challenges, risks, and rewards. As the countdown ticked down, Malik knew he couldn't back away now. The secrets, the mystery, the family he never knew he had, they were all part of something far bigger than himself. But he also realized that it wasn't just about the inheritance or the power that came with it. It was about understanding who he was and what kind of person he wanted to become. It was about finding his own path in a world full of choices. With a final glance at his father, Malik stepped forward toward the unknown. The doors to the SUV closed behind him with a quiet click, signaling the start of his new life. Whatever awaited him, he was ready to face it. The true test had just begun. Malik stood still for a moment, his mind buzzing with questions. The car doors closed behind him, and the atmosphere shifted. The countdown had stopped, the flashing numbers replaced by a calm, steady light. His father, Michael, had stepped back, allowing Malik to take control of the moment. What's next? Malik finally asked, his voice steady but filled with the weight of the decision he had just made. Michael smiled, a glimmer of pride in his eyes. It's all up to you now. The path forward is yours to choose, but know that everything you do from here will have consequences. This isn't just about money or success. It's about building something bigger than yourself, creating a legacy, finding your purpose. And the journey won't always be easy. Malik nodded, understanding now that his life had been forever changed. The world he had stepped into was full of possibilities, but also challenges he never could have imagined. He had been tested in ways he never thought possible, and though the road ahead was uncertain, he felt ready for it. "Remember, Malik," Michael continued, his voice softer now, "it's not about who you know or how much you have. It's about who you become. The choices you make define you." Malik looked at his father, and for the first time, he truly felt like he was part of something important, something that was bigger than just him. The fear he felt earlier began to fade, replaced by a quiet determination. Whatever lay ahead, he would face it head-on, armed with the lessons he had learned and the strength he had discovered within himself. As he walked toward the unknown, Malik knew one thing for sure: this was only the beginning of his story, and he was ready to write the next chapter.